of a community, and the community wants them to come back with and rejuvenated with those ideas that can actually ripple through our society. So let me talk about three interconnected themes, and I'll try and be really quick because I know there's a lot of other people who you really want to hear from. First is choosing the right path and the importance of education and career alignment. Um, and the Pacific energy sector, as we know, is evolving rapidly. It's no longer confined to traditional paradigms. I think renewables are such a vital part of our economies. And some Pacific countries, for example, although it's a very small example, Nauru now has more than 50 to 60% of its energy from solar, which is a remarkable achievement. And I think given the natural sunlight we have and the natural capacity we have, we just have to move in that direction. I'm really pleased that in our school here at STEMP, we do a lot of work around renewables. So renewable energy, smart grids, data analytics, and sustainability are absolutely the new frontiers. But how do we navigate this dynamic landscape? I think that's the really crucial issue. And I think that's what you'll be discussing in your today. So to our students, I want to suggest that you chart your academic journey considering the following issues. I think you really need to be passionate and purposeful in what you do. I think you also need to think about what are the skills for tomorrow. I've said this many times in different forums, that what keeps a vice chancellor awake at night, a vice chancellor who's responsible for a regional university like ours, is what are the skills that are going to be needed, not in 5 years, but actually probably in 30 years. And we know there's a really big intersection happening between artificial intelligence and particularly biotechnology, but also a lot of other sectors. And that will change the way we, for example, individual personalized healthcare, all the way to large transformations in energy, like the management of grids. So I think you really need to be thinking about how you're going to fit into those skills for tomorrow, and then also be really attuned to what are the industry insights that we're gaining continuously um, from our industry partners throughout our region. Secondly, I want to talk about women in leadership, and I think we at USP have been really struggling with this as well. We haven't been able to get women to come to the top tiers of our management. So one thing I'm going to be doing shortly in the next month or so is I'm using a vice chancellor's strategic fund to create a fund where we look at all the women in our organization who are ready to be, I'm really talking about academic women at this stage, ready to be promoted to the next level, but they need a little bit of help. And they need help because we know there are particular reasons why they haven't been able to get that kind of support. So I'll be setting up this initiative where we'll really push our women to, if maybe they need a couple of months off to finish some articles, maybe they need some other support, they need some mentorship. So we're going to use a Vice Chancellor Strategic Fund this year to create that kind of momentum to try and help move more women in leadership. So why does, thank you. So why does focusing on leadership matter for us? And again, I'm really talking to our students who are, as I've said, are the torchbearers of the future. I think we need them because, one, we need economic growth throughout the region. Secondly, leadership, particularly in the energy sector, needs the kind of leadership that I've been talking about those transformative people who are going to affect their communities. From boardrooms to research labs, your perspectives matter. And you need to redefine the norms and inspire future generations. So you're going to become the torchbearers, not only for what you're doing now, but very much for the future. And then I think the really important function of a university is that it's got to provide the innovation that's going to transform things. We come to university not just to learn what's going on, but to path to create a new pathway, to suggest new ways of doing things. And I think to you and with our academic staff, we're really looking forward to how we do that. Finally, the third interconnected theme that I want to highlight quickly is the transformative power of collaboration. Neither universities, nor government, nor industry, nor our development partners can do any of this alone. It's always got to be a way of working together, finding the right way to listening to different partners, and then coming up with innovative solutions. And our collaboration extends well beyond the walls of the university. We don't want to be an ivory tower. We want to be intimately connected with the communities we serve, which is why I think our logo is so important. It's about shaping Pacific futures. And we can't shape Pacific futures sitting here without having connections outside. We need those deep connections. We need to hear from you. We need to hear from our students. We need to hear from our partners of how we move forward together. So finally, what I want to say to our students particularly is choose wisely. We're just sort of in the first week of classes. The privilege of being at the premier regional university is something that I don't want to overcook, but it is something that is a huge responsibility, not only for those of you who are here, but as I've said earlier, for your communities. So study passionately. People have really invested in you because we believe that you're going to change the world. And remember that your education is not just about getting a degree. It's about impact. It's about how you're going to change. And I think for me personally, the most important time, and in April, we'll be having our graduations, is I always love to see the people as they walk across the stage, because they're the ones who are just so passionate and ready to take on the world. And to our women leaders and aspiring leaders, persist. There are barriers everywhere. And you're the ones who are going to break those barriers. So when I was working in Australia, in the United Kingdom, in the US, I always talked about what I call the bamboo ceiling. It wasn't a glass ceiling for people of color. We experienced a bamboo ceiling. And women, we have very similar bamboo ceilings that we need to break down. But you need to know that there's a lot of support for us to help you break those barriers and to move forward. I'm absolutely confident that we can shape a future together where energy is sustainable, equitable, and powered by our unwavering resolve. So I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of this transformative moment. So let's forge ahead together. I look forward to some of the discussions today. Unfortunately, I can't be here for very long. And thank you once again to all our partners and to all of you who are here today in Suva and across our Pacific campuses. Welcome to the university. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor, Professor Aluwalia, for blessing us with a very enriching welcome. And I believe all of us here have got quite a lot to take from your welcome. Next on the agenda, we'd like to invite Bonnie Sirois, the acting country manager for the World Bank, to also provide a welcome for the event today.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Permanent Secretary, Minister for Women, Children, and Social Protection, Mrs. Sita Nandakwitavuki. University of the South Pacific Vice Chancellor, Professor Paul Aluwalia. Our partners from the Pacific Power Association and SPC, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and distinguished university students here at USP's campuses across the region. A warm bula vanaka to each one of you. It is an honor to stand here before you today as the acting country representative of the World Bank in Fiji. Our partnership here is significant as we come together to discuss critical issues that will shape the future of our region and the future of work. Firstly, let me express my heartfelt gratitude to our partners for convening this event with the World Bank's Pacific Women in Power Program, or PWIP, as we call it. To USP, our colleagues at the Pacific Power Association and SPC, thank you for your continuous engagement to align our efforts across the energy sector and in driving gender equality. The energy landscape in the Pacific is undergoing a profound transformation. Climate change, technological advancements, renewables, and the imperative for sustainable development have converged to create both challenges and opportunities. The Pacific, vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, must adapt swiftly. And at the heart of this transformation are not only the men and boys aspiring to or already working in the energy sector, but also the women and girls who have an important role to play. Our Pacific Women in Power program is not merely an initiative. It is a movement that seeks to amplify the role and voices of women in engineering, science, and leadership roles within the energy sector. Our goal is to assist energy sector and education institutions dismantle barriers and create pathways for women to thrive in careers in the energy sector. We look forward to sharing more about this program with you today. And I hope you will join our journey to help increase the share of women and girls working in the Pacific energy sector. Let us recognize that women's employment in the energy sector is a matter of equal opportunities for men and women to access good jobs. It's also an economic imperative. According to our research, closing gender employment gaps could on average increase GDP per capita by 22% in Pacific countries. Imagine the possibilities if women's employment rates matched men's. Also, for businesses across the energy supply chain, global research shows that gender diverse companies have better financial performance, innovation, safer environments, and improved employee retention. Today, as we discuss the future of work, we must emphasize the importance of collaboration across sectors. Universities play a pivotal role in shaping the next generation of leaders. By connecting academia, industry, and policymakers, we can drive change. To our partners represented here today, I say, let us encourage more women to pursue STEM courses and engineering careers, especially within our Pacific energy utilities. Their expertise, creativity, and resilience will power our sustainable future. In closing, I invite each of you to be an advocate for women's employment in the energy sector and to change and use opportunities such as our event today to hash out the challenges and opportunities for each of you here. Let us challenge the status quo, break down silos, and create an inclusive energy sector. Together, we can light up not only our homes, but also the path towards a greener, more equitable Pacific energy sector. Thank you, and Vinaka Vakalevu, for your commitment to a brighter future of work.
Thank you very much, Bonnie, for the welcome from the World Bank. Next on our agenda, I'm pleased to invite, we're honored to have the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry for Women, Children and Social Protection, Eseta Nanda Kuidavuki. Please, can you come up front? Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Okay, good. The executives of the World Bank's Pacific Women in Power program, executives of the University of the South Pacific, executives of the Pacific Power Association, executives of the Pacific Community or this SPC, the students that are present here today, of course, parents that have accompanied their daughters and sons. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all, and thank you for the warm welcome. I'd like to make a special mention and to congratulate the World Bank, excuse me, and the World Bank Pacific Women Power Program and partners, the Pacific community for the successful launch of the program in Vanuatu last year, as well as receiving the Pacific Energy Minister's endorsement of the program. I'm proud of the Fiji government and the Honorable Minister for Public Works and Meteorological Services for their support of this initiative, recognizing the vital role women play and the girls in the sector that we are talking about, which is the energy sector. The Department of Energy have demonstrated committed in participating in the baseline data collection and survey concluded by the World Bank team. In line of that, so I'd like to congratulate them today. Thank you very much for the great work that has been done already. It is such a pleasure for me to be here with you all this morning to speak, especially on a topic that is at the heart of the Fijian government. Education is an essential means of empowering women with the knowledge, women with the skills and self-confidence necessary to fully participate in the development process. Sustainable development is only possible when women and men enjoy equal opportunities to reach their potential. Fiji as a nation has taken great strides in the education sector, with the Fijian government placing a great emphasis on building a smart and educated society. And the political will being reflected in the Education Ministry receiving over $800 million in this fiscal year budget. And programs also that ensure that girls and boys, men and women of Fiji have equal access to education right from primary to tertiary levels. The opportunity is now available for Fijians to access tertiary education is like never before, with the removal of burdensome student loan scheme, swamped with merit-based scholarships that will cater for over 8,000 new students in 2024 and over 9,000 existing students. I also like to thank and congratulate the World Bank's Pacific Women in Power program for making an event like this not only possible, but a priority. A program that supports the energy sector in the Pacific reach its goals in increasing the share of women in technical and leadership positions in the sector. I wish to also thank the University of the South Pacific, the Pacific Power Association, the Pacific community for the collaboration on this crucial program and recognizing that to be able to succeed in having more women in the energy sector, there is a need to ensure that the pool of qualified female STEM graduates is available and interested to work in the sector. And for graduates to understand the talent the energy sector is looking for. I'm also very pleased to know that the Pacific Women in Power events is one to nominate more women and girls to enroll for STEM courses and aspire to careers in Pacific energy sector, and also to promote energy sector clients to engage with the education sector. It also aims to improve and enhance women's employment and economic empowerment across the various Pacific Islands energy institutions, including ministries, utilities, and the private sector. Today's event, as we now know, is targeting students as they enroll in their classes for the new semester, as well as their parents, agencies in this energy sector. Of course, the private sector, energy companies, and the public utilities that are responsible for this sector. I'm also told that the event will be live streamed and made available across the USP campuses across the Pacific region. And it is my sincere hope that by the end of this event, we would have more young women seriously considering a formal qualification and a career in the energy sector. Women's full and equal participation in this sector, particularly clean energy, is integral to environmental sustainability and economic development in our region, as women are very well situated to help develop and make important decisions around the household and, of course, the communities in large. An expanded and inclusive energy sector will also translate into greater economic empowerment by increasing women's access to paid employment and skills training in clean energy related endeavors. It is widely acknowledged that science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or in short, STEM, careers are male dominated. But let me share with you some misconceptions and also facts. It is a misconception that women are inferior to men in STEM abilities, but it is a fact that women and men have the same abilities in STEM. It is a misconception that women are naturally more interested in caregiving occupants like nursing, teaching, and men are naturally more interested in STEM fields than women. It is a fact that interests vary, are socially influenced. It is a misconception that STEM across or success requires natural STEM talent, but it is a fact that STEM success requires effort. It is a misconception that female mentors and role models are irrelevant to women's success in STEM, but it is a fact that we need female mentors and role models. It is a misconception that women can't successfully balance being a scientist and having a family, but it is a fact that any successful female scientists have positive family experiences. And the biggest misconception today is that the battle against sexism in science has been won. But the fact is that while there have been improvements in the treatment of women in science, there is still a long way to go. So the percentage of women in STEM statistics globally reveal that just 15% of engineering graduates, 19% of technology and mathematics, and 38% of computer studies are females. Locally, from primary to high school girls and boys do not significantly differ in their abilities in mathematics and science, but do differ in their interest and confidence in the STEM subjects. Up until the recent past years, we would see the entire class of girls choosing home economics over technical drawing, or vernacular or secretarial studies over computer science. Wouldn't we? But it is truly pleasing to know that this is now changing. The rates of science and engineering course taking for females largely shifts at the undergraduate level. And that is where gender disparities begin to emerge. In an era when women are increasingly prominent in medicine, law, and business, why are there so few women scientists, engineers, and leaders in STEM fields, including the energy sector? One may ask. Some research work present compelling evidence that profiles key findings that point to environmental and social barriers, including stereotypes, gender bias, and the climate of science and engineering departments in colleges and universities that continue to block women's progress in STEM. Nonetheless, more than ever before, girls are studying and excelling in science and mathematics. For example, the female graduates for STEM at USP had consistently increased from 2010 to 2015. Maybe it still is. I'm not sure of the latest stats. I'll be interested to know what the stats I have right now. Yet the increase in girls' educational achievements in scientific and mathematical subjects has not been matched by similar increases in the representation of women working as scientists, engineers, and computing professionals, let alone in leadership. And that is something Professor had alluded to. For example, globally, only 12% of all environmental related ministers or ministries have a woman minister. In the Asia Pacific region, this figure is even lower at 7%. In the case of energy ministries specifically, only 6% of all Asia Pacific ministers are women, while in the Pacific, only one country has a woman minister. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we still have a lot of work to do in this space, and that's why you are here. We will do it together. The time to change is here. The year is, in particular, is dedicated to call on change, especially with this year's International Women's Day theme being Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress as well. So I'm calling for everyone to journey with me to ensure that we lift up the standard and also improve on our number and the gap that we have to actually narrow it. So simply put, diversity, both inherent and acquired, helps drive innovation. We know from research that diverse teams are more effective at problem solving with different voices, viewpoints, expertise, and life experiences are brought to bear. The World Bank estimates, and I think it's been mentioned, that in the long run, GDP per capita would be around 22% higher for Pacific Islands if employment rates for women were to match the men folks. As women remain dramatically underrepresented across all STEM studies and careers, including energy sector, how do we make studies to close the gender gap and fuel the next generation of female innovators? At a time when technology continues to transform the way we live, work and learn, at a time when have evidence that shows that enhancing women's engagement in utilities firms is vital for driving more innovative and inclusive solutions for clean energy transitions, while economically empowering them. The need to close the STEM gender gap is more critical than ever. With the Ministry for Women, Children, and Social Protection, I'm more pleased with the Pacific Women in Power program, and we acknowledge and show support to all the organizations involved in their tremendous efforts to help advance gender equality in our nation and the region. I am confident that the program will change the outlook of the young females and parents that are present here on the STEM careers, and there is no better time to educate our young generation of the opportunities and needs of these sectors from now. Just like other areas of women's development, we recognize that initiatives like these have an important role to play, especially in terms of advocating for change. So to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, we need to adopt some crucial steps to encourage women to enter and stay in STEM careers, such as highlighting the work of women in STEM, redesigning our education systems, promote STEM's role in problem solving, collecting adequate and accurate data to expose the gaps in the STEM fields, and rethinking the hiring and retention process Many of these issues faced by women in STEM fields are common to women in any workplace, but STEM jobs have particular challenges. We need to aggressively address these challenges to ensure that we have the best talent engaged and enough people to fill these roles. The first step to all this is motivating more young females and creating an equitable environment for them to enter and excel in the STEM education. We need to stop telling our girls that they cannot build roads, they cannot design buildings, they cannot innovate the fastest cars, or that they cannot do the maths, because that is what boys are good at. We need to start giving our children more examples of women who broke barriers in the STEM fields. So with these words, ladies and gentlemen, I wish the Pacific Women in Power program a great success and all the participants the very best. Make the right choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam PS. I think I share similar feelings of encouragement and inspiration from your speech, and also the welcomes that have been delivered this morning. One of the things, new term I caught during the speeches is the transformative collaboration by each stakeholder. And I think today's event and seeing all of you who are here and those of you who have participated in putting the event together is testament to that. Next on our agenda, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my boss and Ms. Hele Bukave, who is the Global Gender Lead and Task Team Leader for the Pacific Women in Power of the World Bank.
Good morning, Permanent Secretary, University of South Pacific Vice Chancellor, our valued program partners from the Pacific Power Association and SPC, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed students, faculty members, and distinguished guests. It is with great pleasure that I address you here today at the University of South Pacific to introduce our Pacific Women in Power program. Thank you to all you students who have taken the time to join us today and to allow us to share with you our excitement about working in and with the energy sector. Energy is an absolute critical and fast-growing sector and industry. For example, at global level, the number of jobs in renewable energy have been steadily increasing over the past decade, from 7 million jobs in 2012 to about 14 million jobs, according to the latest data now. For women and men around the world, the energy sector offers the potential to generate substantial income and the opportunity to design the infrastructure that spurs a country's future. And for women especially, it offers the opportunity to serve as role models for future generations of young women who find the passion in STEM-related careers. Pacific Ministers of Energy acknowledge that the energy sector must adapt to today's development opportunities and climate challenges. This transformation involves advancing towards a climate-aware energy industry, one that embraces sustainability, resilience, and is gender inclusive. The Pacific energy sector must draw on all the talent in the Pacific. Global evidence shows that when industries embrace a gender diverse labor force, it has positive impact on retention, innovation, and revenue. As part of our Pacific Women in Power program, we have collected employment data from 14 energy utilities across the Pacific. And we find that on average, the share of female employees in the Pacific is 18%. But the majority of women that are working in the energy sector are doing so in administrative jobs. We find that less than 6% of technical staff are female. That means that there is a very low share of women in those quite well-paid and interesting positions in the energy sector, which require technical skills in STEM fields. With our World Bank Pacific Women in Power program, we are here to help shift the dial in the Pacific energy sector by promoting women's employment in energy. We are working with energy utilities and with the Department of Energies to help address some of the barriers to women's employment. For example, by creating safety measures for men and women respectively, promoting training and internship programs, and hiring practices that ensure a focus on getting more women staff employed in technical and leadership roles in the sector. The program is aiming to increase the share of women employed in the Pacific energy sector, and it is a testament to our collective commitment to strengthen the Pacific energy sector. So before we turn to our panel discussion with experts to learn more about working in the energy sector in the Pacific, I would like to show you just a 3-minute short video of our program. So if I say hit it, we will see if, yes, it works.
Women's participation in traditionally male-dominated sectors dealing with the deep-rooted causes of gender inequality. There is still the pathways that are lacking to grow to engage in the predominantly male-dominated subjects like STEM. Girls who educate going to the sector platform very, very important issues to face like hiring schools, unequal pay, and of course, the pervasive sexual harassment. On top of that, we have the absence of role models, female role models in the sector.
The Pacific Women in Power program aims to systematically tackle gender gaps. The World Bank has implemented a program in collaboration with Pacific Power Association and key Pacific stakeholders.
As part of our Pacific Women in Power program, we are gathering data and helping clients design and invest in future and current innovations, partnerships, and policies to increase women's participation in the energy sector.
Through a focus on building evidence and data-driven business cases, engaging champions and supporting advocacy, building embedded multi-year program focused on skills and employment, and capacity building and knowledge management, the Pacific Women in Power program will help enhance women's employment and economic empowerment across the Pacific. This will help build a strong, diverse workforce in the energy sector.
I treat Pacific Women in Power as a platform for all Pacific Island women, as we see this increasing labor market generally of women. We need to train our women, we need to put them to work in these sectors.
Introducing of renewable energy is the time for the female workers to come in, so they're moving together.
The government recognise that women are better placed to be good managers of these systems in our communities from household level up. Women are always the managers, and so they need to be well versed on the management aspects of these technologies. That's one of our main aims, is to set up those sustainable management models so that the renewable energy generation is sustainable in the future.
Through Pacific Women in Power, we are working towards empowering women to break stereotypes and building a more sustainable, climate-safer future for the Pacific.
If you have the right mindset and the right attitude, you can pursue anything that comes across. This is not only men's field, women too can see in as men.
Thank you very much, Hele, and also IT at the back. The video worked. Next on our agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is a significant part that I know a lot of you are looking forward to, is our panel discussion. So for our panelists, I will provide an introduction to you, and then you'll step forward and take a seat up front. So we are pleased that we have as a panelist today, Dr. Ravita Prasad. Dr. Ravita Prasad is an assistant professor at the School of Sciences in the College of Engineering and Technical Vocational Education and Training at the Fiji National University. She is teaching physics and renewable energy courses to undergraduate and postgraduate students. Her research interests are long-term energy planning, sustainable energy, and clean cooking energy. Welcome, Ravita. We also have Miss Teiti Nia who is the chief engineer from Te Aponga Uira, Cook Islands Power Utility, who has flown all the way from Cook Islands to be with us today. Teiti is the chief engineer. She holds a Bachelor of Engineering and Technology from the Auckland University of Technology. She has been with Te Aponga Uira Power Utility for 15 years. Ms. Nia currently represents Te Aponga Uira on the Cook Islands Electrical Workers Registration Board, which is responsible for the licensing of electrical workers in the Cook Islands. Welcome, Teiti. We're also very pleased to have with us Mr. Hasmukh Patel. Mr. Hasmukh Patel is the Chief Executive Officer of Energy Fiji Limited. Mr. Patel had joined the Energy Fiji Limited in 1976 as a graduate electrical engineer and has served in numerous senior engineering and senior management positions covering technical, field, and system operational aspects of electricity networks. Mr. Patel has a first-class Bachelor's of Technology degree in Electrical Engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, India, and a graduate certificate in management from Monash in Australia. He is also a chartered electrical engineer and a member of the Institute of Electrical Engineers in UK, as well as Australia, to name a few. Welcome, Mr. Patel. I'd also like to acknowledge that this event is live streamed, and we have joining all the way from Samoa is Miss Sarafina Lessa. Sarafina Lessa, are you able to say hello? Sarafina is tuning in online from Samoa.
I'm not sure if you guys are able to hear me, but
Yes, we can hear you, Fina. There you go. Welcome, Fina. Fina is a graduate engineer at working with the Samoa's Electrical Power Corporation of Samoa. She is passionate about sustainable energy solutions and committed to ensuring the reliability and efficiency of Samoa's electrical infrastructure. She's currently working in the Quality Assurance and Development Division on various projects focusing on improving the quality of Samoa's electrical grid. Welcome, Fina. And we also have from the World Bank team, we have Miss Inka. Inka Shoma is the Pacific Women in Power Senior Gender and Infrastructure Specialist Consultant. INCA specializes in helping infrastructure stakeholders think practically through their gender equality and social inclusion challenges and opportunities to ensure they are responsive to change and well-positioned for business opportunities. Welcome, Inka. Inka is here with us. Inka is actually part of the team, but has come all the way from South Africa, where she is based. 36 hours. And we also have here, back to USB, we have the lovely Melelupe, Mrs. Melelupe Vakauta. Melelupe is currently a third-year student at the University of the South Pacific. She's studying for a Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical and Electronics and is a member of the Women in Engineering Association. Prior to entering USB, she had graduated from Australia Pacific Technical College, now known as Australia Pacific Training Coalition, where she graduated with a certificate 3 in electrotechnology, electrician. She's a licensed electrician back in Tonga for the past 8 years. Studying engineering is an eye-opening experience for Melelupe, but also to young women, and also the young women who are brave enough to challenge the stereotypes and advocate for gender diversity and inclusivity in the sector, and in the sector and the profession. It is Melelupe's hope that each and every young woman pursuing their dream in this field never gives up. Somebody once said, if it were easy, everyone would do it. But overcoming these challenges is where true growth and success lies. Welcome, Melelupe. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you. We also have Alan. Just checking if, not yet? Okay. We also have our senior energy specialist, Alan, who will be tuning in from Singapore, but there might be a few technical glitches on that side at this time, but we will come back to that. So please welcome our panelists today. Before we start, I'd like to just ask the audience to turn your phones off, if you don't mind, during the session, but also would kindly ask the panelists to there will be a few rounds of questions and discussion. The structure of the panel will be conversational. Please keep your responses to 2 to 3 minutes. Hele Bukave, our task team leader, will be the moderator for this session. Over to you, Hele. Vinawalev.
Thank you very much, Lilika, and thank you to our panelists. Welcome. I really like the comment from our permanent secretary on misconceptions and facts. One of the facts was that we need role models, and I'm so glad that we have quite a few of them here today. So my first question goes to our role model, Ms. Tay from Cook Islands. Please, can you share with us what got you interested in engineering and what inspired you to take this path?
Thank you, Hele. It's an honor to be here. Right. So I did a video with PPA a couple of years ago. You'd find on PPA website, I talk a lot about my journey with the utility. But I guess to answer your question, Hele, in my early times of my career with the utility, I was heavily involved in performance analysis, system performance analysis. And, you know, for that role, there's a lot of data analysis. From that, my passion for data stemmed. And, I was fascinated with what a data can tell, what story a data can tell. And through graph or whatever result, other means of result you can get from the data you're looking at. And from that, I was, really interested in the engineering pathway. And so I took that on board. I made my interest known to management, and I was given the opportunity to be in a technical role. And a lot of my training in the early times of my career was on the job training, and I was quite content with the training I was getting on on the job. But over time, it wasn't enough anymore. That's when I decided, because the work was, the engineering analysis was becoming a lot more complex. And I knew my limited capacity, without any formal training, was going to limit where I move within the company, or in terms of my career. So I decided that because I wanted more, and I wanted to know what the fundamentals of the role, I decided to go to uni, get my degree after 5 years with the company. So that's how everything started. And after 4 years, got my degree, and I went back to the same place where it all started. And 6 years later, I'm now the chief engineer.
Wonderful. Thank you. When we first spoke to Thea, he was a bit younger. And she said, very passionate, electricity is my magic. So we have known her for a while and know that this is really her passion. And with that, I would like to turn to Serafina, who is another engineer on our panel from Samoa. And I have a similar question to you, Serafina. What inspired you to pursue this career path? And also, have you met any challenges along your journey, and how did you overcome these?
Thank you for the question. So I chose a career as an engineer because I've always been fascinated by the potential for innovation in this field. I believe that energy is at the core of addressing some of our world's most pressing challenges, from climate change to sustainable development. And being an engineer in the energy sector allows me to be a part of the solution and drive meaningful change through technology and innovation. I was also motivated to work in the field because it offers continuous learning and innovation. Electrical engineering is a dynamic and evolving field, and I saw it as a path where I could constantly challenge myself and make a meaningful impact. And as a woman, I have faced stereotypes and biases that have challenged my professional journey. And this can manifest in subtle ways, such as being overlooked for challenging projects or not being taken as seriously in meetings. But overcoming these challenges has required resilience and determination. And I have learned to assert myself more confidently, showcase my skills and expertise, and excel at what I do. And while these challenges can be discouraging at times, they've also fueled my determination to succeed and break down barriers for women in engineering. So yeah, I hope that by sharing my experiences, I can inspire other women to pursue their passions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Serafina. Thank you. On these stereotypes, clearly working in the Pacific energy sector is an exciting career, but we hear about the stereotypes a lot. We sometimes hear comments like women aren't suited to certain careers. They do not belong in field work. Their work is too physical, and so forth. Norms that suggest that because you are a daughter, a mother, or a wife, you belong into a certain box. Those social norms exist everywhere in the world, but they are also overcome by men and women every day. And my next question is for Dr. Prasad. Is this something that you are also experiencing in the classroom? And what advice do you give to both students and their students' conversations with their parents in addressing some of these real concerns?
Thank you, Hele, for the question and for the opportunity to be part of this wonderful panel discussion today. Yes, there are expectations from women that we need to marry at a certain age and we need to have children, and that we are the nurturers at home. We have to look after our children first. But what I see in my classroom, I teach physics and renewable energy, and we have got a number of girls and males in the room, but there are working mothers, women who are already in the workforce. They come into the study part-time. There are single mothers as well who are in the classroom. And so there are challenges which male student may not be facing, but these female students are facing. So as a teacher, as a lecturer, it's my responsibility to address their issues if they are facing any. So if they are lagging behind in their submissions, they approach me, and then we try to give them extensions. Also, I record my classes so that if they miss the live class during the session, they can always go back and see the recorded videos. Also, we have got the avenue for having lab sessions on Saturdays. So if they are not able to come to the class during the weekdays when they are working, they can always come on a Saturday and complete that part. And for parents who have got daughters, if you have a sister or sisters and you have wives who want to come into the energy field, they are passionate about things related to renewable energy or engineering for that aspect. Let them go, let them pursue their passion, because if they are passionate, if they are interested in a particular area, they will succeed in that area. So do not undermine them. So that's my message to the parents. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad. To Mr. Patel on my right here, you are a CEO and an important employer in the sector. What do you look for in a young graduate? And where do you suggest that they focus in their studies if they want to work with you? And also, how is EFL trying to address some of these concerns that we hear about today to attract women to be employed in EFL? Over to you.
Thank you. Firstly, I'd like to thank World Bank to bring me on in this panel. And at EFL, we are an equal opportunity employer. So we don't have any distinction between male and female. And I feel that the game starts actually at the universities. I think it's important that, they do their marketing in a style where women do get interested in energy and engineering. Just to give an example, when I went to university, I was fortunate to go to the prestigious IIT in India many years ago. And those days, there were 5 IITs in India, which is a well-known organization and institute in the world today, and it's produced many top-level executives. So they used to take, each IIT used to take 250 fresh students. And when I went to IIT, in that 250, we had 2 women. So you can see, basically, not very many women. Even many years ago, I went to IIT in 1970, so it's almost 53 years ago, basically. So happy to say that there was one out of the 2, there was one with me in the class. And I'll be actually meeting her next week, we're all getting together. And she became a big businesswoman. She runs a huge factory and producing electrical cables and goods. So the point I'm trying to make is, generally it has been an old idea that women cannot get into engineering because it's very difficult. The concept is that they say that engineering is nothing but mathematics, especially electrical engineering. So when you talk about energy sector, primarily it's electrical engineering or mechanical engineering. But the point I'm saying is, no, women can also become engineers. It's not that it's purely mathematics and it's going to be tough. And women are made to do other subjects like home economics or management or business studies. No, they can also become engineers. And I think I remember that in EFL, it was some 20 years ago when we recruited Naomi, and she came in as the first electrical woman engineer in the company. And I was so happy to recruit her 20 years ago. And she's sitting in this hall today, and she's been with us. And she's actually gone, from a graduate, and she's very soon to become as part of my executive management team. That can be done.
Thank you. Well, Elelupa, you are hearing all of this. Thank you. And you represent the students in the room as well. Maybe you're about to enter this exciting workforce that we are talking about. What are you looking forward to? And what do you dream to contribute to this sector?
Thank you, Hel. Other than getting paid after
Yes.
studying for so long, that's what I look forward to. But also the prospect of ongoing learning. Also expanding my knowledge base and the hands-on experience I will be getting when I'm on the job. I look forward if they have training programs, and also maybe find a good mentor. This is what we lack in USB. We don't have female lecturers, lucky FNU. But this is why we have women in engineering. This is a space, safe space where we encourage young female engineers to come to bring their difficulties and concerns about their academic endeavors. But it is also where we promote when those that are finishing from their final years, we give them opportunities where they can apply for a job. Opportunities that I think that will contribute to the energy sector. As engineers, we are responsible for roles in project planning, construction management in installation of renewable energy installations. Yeah, and my dream is for my daughter when she grows up and other young female engineers that they are not limited by their gender if they want to study engineering. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Malelupe. I'm going to throw back some of your comments over to my right side here again, Mr. Patel. First, I would like to say that in the Pacific Women in Power program, we are supporting utilities create mentoring program or expand the mentoring programs. But you touched about something important and very straightforward. Well, it's hopefully a good pay, you know, and so is it a good pay?
Yeah, I think firstly, I'd like to say that, I work in the energy sector, which is we supply electricity to Fiji. And obviously, it's electricity that drives the economy of the country. If it doesn't for the electricity, obviously the economy will come to a halt. So it's a very important sector, and therefore it is well paid. Unfortunately, right now, as we speak in Fiji, a lot of our people are leaving Fiji, right? And they're migrating. I mean, if you look at in the last 2 years in Energy Fiji Limited, we have lost almost 280 people. And that's quite a number. That's more than 25% of our workforce. Now, obviously, these were all very highly trained and skilled people in the technical areas. And obviously, New Zealand and Australia were able to grab them very easily, without spending a cent. And Fiji has lost a lot of skills. So it is a concern. But in Energy Fiji, yes, we do pay well. In fact, I can mention it publicly because it's a fact that we gave our staff a 17% pay rise last year. And that was part of our retention strategy, basically. Now, I don't think there's any one single organization in Fiji that has given a 17% pay rise last year. But obviously, we had to do that to ensure that we can retain our skills and they are paid. So, yeah, it is a highly paid area. And I can say that any one of you students who are pursuing engineering here today, you're welcome to come and see me as you go through your courses. I'd like to mentor people, in the engineering area. And I take the liberty to say that I have a niece actually whom I mentored many years ago, to pursue electrical engineering. She didn't have this course in the wildest of her dreams, and she lives in New Zealand. And I told her that you should do electrical engineering. And I said, I'll teach you. And I had all the textbooks when I went to uni. I still have them. And I gave her all the books. And she went to Canterbury and did electrical engineering. And she has been in the workforce. She actually was a colleague of Krishnil, who's another Canterbury student in my organization. And she's a manager with Transpower in Wellington for many years now. So those engineering students are here pursuing engineering or in the energy sector. You are welcome. If you have any questions or you want to know anything about how I can help you out, you're welcome to come to my office, seek an appointment, and I'll be able to talk to you and advise you or help you in any way or mentor you in any way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think it also illustrates something important that, of course, the energy sector is also a business and retention is important. And that sometimes is the entry point also for us working on gender equality, to provide an eye-opening of how women can also enter that labor force, a male-dominated labor force, and help with the retention in the sector. So this is one of the things that encourage this discussion here today as well. So I now understand that my colleague Alan is online, connecting from IMI, where he is working this week. And Alan, I would like to ask if you could please give us an overview of the energy landscape in the Pacific and how this is evolving in terms of country commitments and investments in renewable energy. According to the World Bank's assessments, what will the Pacific energy sector look like in 10 years' time, and what type of skills are needed? What do students here today need to focus on? Alan, I see you.
Yes.
Now you're muted. Okay, hold on a second.
So do you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to join this panel, though remotely, and thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the distinguished panelists. Yes, to respond to your question on how the energy landscape will look like in the Pacific. First, I would say that in 10 years, in summary, I think that in 10 years, we're going to see a significant increase of renewable energy and sun across the Pacific. First of all, this is based on some key aspects. First of all, in the Pacific, the governments of the Pacific are very well committed, actually, as part of the nationally determined contribution to climate change, to really replace diesel-based generation by renewables. So we have, the governments have put up very ambitious targets, and you have, for instance, at least seven have targets to achieve 100% of renewable energy by 2030 or by 2050. Those countries such as FSM, Fiji, LMI, Nauru, Samoa, Tuvalu, Vanuatu, they have both really set high targets to achieve 100% of their power being generated from renewable energy sources. And many others also have some targets to reach from 50 up to 100. So this is first a big driver on the Pacific that will drive, looking ahead in 10 years, how things will look like. And second, it's not only the targets. Many countries also have already announced plans for developing renewable energy aligned with the target. You have countries such as Fiji, who have announced that by 2030, they will have at least 53 megawatt of solar panel, 150 megawatt of hydro. Tonga has announced 24 megawatt of solar panel with batteries, and so on. So you have also plans that indicate that the utilities will install solar or hydro or wind generation capacity in the future. And in addition to plans, we also have some countries in the Pacific who are actually also implementing. I know that in Tonga, they have implemented some renewables recently, and I know that in Palau, they have an independent power producer already in place. In LMI, there is a current project financed by the bank who intends to implement 4 megawatt, and moving ahead, there is a new project where we are looking at 7 megawatt. And FSM right now, 1 megawatt is being done, and also Nauru also is about to commission some solar PV system, about 6 megawatt of solar panel. So it means that even though the targets are very ambitious, there are concrete plans, and there is actually concrete realization happening in the Pacific. So with these indicators, we can confidently say that for sure, it will not be business as usual in the Pacific with diesel generation. We will be expecting to see a significant increase in renewable energy across this Pacific. So what that means in terms of skills, it means that there are job openings with companies that will do the engineering, the procurement, and the construction. There are also job opening for people also at the ministry level who will actually monitor those projects, or some, if we have a regulator or even not a regulator, there are people also who will be looking at how those are being, in case of independent power producer, they will be looking how the independent producer is meeting his target and is meeting is the delivery of the service that is expected under the contract. So we have different type of jobs that will come. So I would say that in this job, we will need technicians and renewable energy for the installation of the maintenance of solar home system or wind farm, battery storage, and so on. We will need also engineers. Engineers will be needed for the design of the renewable energy system, for the supervision of the construction, and even for assistance to guide the procurement of those systems. And depending on the countries, also at the government level, we'll need also people who understand and are better actually to follow up, have database to see how the country is meeting its target. So you will have also people, officials at the ministry or even at the regulator also. You will even also need people to be able actually to see how the IPP is doing, if there are complaints, how they can solve it. So you will beside the engineer, you will have people with specific skills to regulate or to monitor, and those people can be people with a background in economics or studying in finance. Those will be also needed for the renewable energy sector. And you will also need to conclude in case of independent power producer that is bringing some investment and want to invest, and one of the key term will be the power purchase agreement. You will also need people to be able to review those contracts and see if it makes sense for the government, if it's attractive for the government. So you will need also people with skill in legal aspects. It can be legal counselors and so on. That also will come. So I would say that it brings a good prospect in the Pacific. There are many jobs that are coming. And it will not be only engineers. You will have a lot of technicians, you will have a lot of engineers, but you will also have people with background in economics and finance who are able actually to provide some insight and regulation. You will also need even some lawyers that are more specified on the renewable space that are able to conclude contracts with developers. So and many other skills also might be needed in case of some countries that are opening some manufacturing and so on. So you will also need some skills, and even also at a low skills level to come and work in case if there's opening of manufacturing. So, and even in the education space, you will need also more people who will come and can be able to teach and make that subject more mainstream into universities and to colleges. So I will stop there. That's a variety of skills, of jobs that are coming in. So it's an interesting and a good prospect for the countries and for the students. And it's also provide incentives for women to be more or less engaged. Besides engineering and technician, they can also work on regulations and on monitoring programs and also on legal advice. So I will stop there, and hopefully I have responded more or less to your questions, but I'm happy to provide clarification. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alain. Thank you. I hope the students in the room find this very encouraging, and I also thank you, Alan, for opening that it's not only for STEM jobs that are coming, but also in the economics fields and in the legal fields, teaching. So thank you for this reminder. Inka, my other colleague here on the panel, you work globally to promote women's employment in the renewable energy sector. Can you give us one or two concrete examples of how women are contributing to renewable energy globally? Thank you.
Great. Is this on? Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us. And yeah, Alain, I was nodding furiously at you. We've had the pleasure of working together for many years. I'm the granddaughter of two civil engineers and a mother that teaches STEM to girls. So I find this topic very, fascinating and the pleasure to work on it. Just generally, we know, that in renewables, the percentage sits of women employment at 32%. That really goes up for solar PV, ground mounted, rooftop, etc. And of course, we had a company out there, CBS Solar Solutions. Thank you for joining us, and lots of women there in the team. I'm going to share with you some of the regional developments that are really, really encouraging. We are seeing women really coming into the space. So for example, in sub-Saharan Africa, that's 48 countries, 30% of the renewable energy companies there that are publicly listed, we're talking on the stock exchange, really big companies, are headed by women. They're being led by women. That's kind of just compared to, if we think about the G20, which has the European Union in it, across all sectors, women in publicly listed companies as CEOs is about 3.5%. So there's a real change happening. If we think about other small island states, for example, in Jamaica, I've been tracking the career of Angela Rainford, who's the CEO of Seleco, and she's just gotten the financing together and the construction of a 51 megawatt project there. It's the largest solar plant in the Caribbean. And she herself is now making sure that there's equity in the project from the beginning in terms of employment. She's working with EPC contractors, and that's engineering, procurement, and construction contractors who often execute and actually do the building on site. In Thailand, for example, Dr. Wandi has been working in the solar industry for about 30 years. Put up 36 solar farms, created 20,000 jobs, and reduced carbon emissions for the country by 200,000 tons. So it's just always remembering that there's the formal employment pathway, but there's also that entrepreneurship pathway where women are actually really kind of forging a path, and there's a lot of investors looking for talent and leadership there. And then just also to acknowledge that, we need more men opening those doors and keeping them open, and stepping up and speaking out, because it's good for women to push and to upskill themselves. But really, we do need those power brokers to be part of that conversation. So thank you.
Thank you, Inka. Just have two more questions and then we round off. Lilika, yes. Because hearing about all these opportunities in the sector, I would like to ask you, Dr. Prasad, how are students being equipped to meet these needs of tomorrow?
Hi. Yes. So at Fiji National University, at our college, we have got a number of programs in engineering and in sciences. So we have got electrical engineering, of course, that teaches about the electrical aspects, the electronics, and they also have renewable energy. We have got mechanical engineering that has got a trade diploma in renewable energy engineering. So that is more focused towards development of technicians. And automotive, they are teaching about, if I look into the energy aspect of it, so they are more into hybrid and electric vehicles, which is the next thing that Fiji government is thinking about. And Maritime Academy for shippings, they are teaching on energy efficiency in shipping vessels. At our school, we have got undergraduate and postgraduate programs where we teach about solar photovoltaics, about making solar cells, efficient solar cells, solar thermal technologies. We have got a course on wind energy systems as well, numerical modeling. I'm teaching a course on energy excess. And when we talk about energy, it's not only about electricity. We need to talk about cooking energy as well. So that's something that we also focus on. And we have got a new staff who is in big data analysis. So looking at solar radiation data and analyzing those. So what the system we have is we've got lectures, we have got practicals that equip students with the theory and practical side of things. Apart from that, in our program, we have got industrial attachment. We are getting learning things in the room, in the classroom. They also attach to industry and they learn maybe a 6-month attachment or a 1-year attachment, and they learn things there at the job site. So I think that builds on the confidence for the new graduates to enter into the workforce. So that's what we are doing at our university.
Wonderful. Thank you. And all those in your class, of course, will be going knocking on the door of Mr. Patel tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you. So as we close, I would like to quickly round off to our role models on the panel again, Ms. Tay and Ms. Serafina, to give us a concrete example for those graduate students today who might be thinking about what a regular workday or exciting workday would look like working at an energy utility. So Serafina, I turn to you first. Can you, in 1 minute, share with us a good day at work? How does that look like?
Thank you for the question. As a graduate engineer, you can expect many different projects based on the division that you're placed into. So, for example, I'm in the quality assurance division department, and I'm currently the project engineer for Samoa's first electrical vehicle pilot project. And so an exciting day for me would be going out and reviewing the progress of all the EVs that we currently have. And another exciting part of work would be being part of the teams that are carrying out feasibility studies for potential renewable energy projects, such as solar, wind, and hydro. So this involves like conducting a lot of site visits and collecting data. And yeah, collaborating and network with other departments and external partners from other government ministries and various projects. Yeah, it provides a dynamic and stimulating work environment. Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Serafina. And over to you, Tay.
I'd say a good day at work is when you leave at the end of the day and no one got killed and the power stayed on. So, I mean, you know, it is the electrical industry is a very dangerous field. And, you know, when those two things happen, you know your policies are working, the team is clear on what they need to do, and management is doing their job. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. Avoid your colleagues from, you know, injuring themselves or worse, killing themselves. And that's what you do at management level, you know, to set policies and procedures in place to make sure that these things are avoided. And if you do that while keeping the light on, you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for our panelists. To close off the program for today, I'd like to invite Gordon Chung, who is the Executive Director for the Pacific Power Association, to deliver the vote of thanks. And then please don't leave. We do have light refreshments after this. And also it will be great to have a group photo after this. Thank you. Over to you. Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you, Lilika. I've been given the role to read out the vote of thanks. So, Madam Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, Vice Chancellor of USP, the Acting Country Director for World Bank, ladies and gentlemen, not forgetting all the students who are here also. That brings us to the end of today's event. The panelists today have discussed the changes that have been happening in our region, and this needs more support and backing because integrating women into all levels of the energy value chain will lead us to more effective and efficient clean energy initiatives, unleash greater return on investments, and expand emission reduction opportunities. The energy transition is a great opportunity for all interested in the energy sector to improve access to technical and leadership training, skills development, and high-quality jobs. And with the environments becoming more suitable and sustainable, thanks to the initiatives such as the Pacific Women in Power and its collaboration with key energy stakeholders, that we hope to see an increase in tertiary level with STEM studies, and hopefully that starts today with a student in this room. Many thanks to our chief guest, the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Women, Children and Social Protection. Vinaka Vakalevu for being a strong advocate for these initiatives that uplift women and youth for your time to join us today. To our esteemed panelists, Tay, I don't want to die soon, who travel all the way from the Cook Islands to be with us today. Mele Lupe, Seraphina's CEO, Mr. Patel, Dr. Ravita Prasad, Alain and Inka from the World Bank. What you have shared is just the beginning of a ripple effect that will bring positive changes for our Pacific, Vinaka. To our partners in the energy sector who showed up today to set up their booths for the benefit of those who are attending today, we see some of the great work going in energy and renewables. To CBS, Phoenix, Clay and Synergizer, EFL and the Department of Energy, keep up the good work and thank you for coming out. To the World Bank Pacific Women in Power Program team, the task lead, Hele, Inka, Mua, Litia, and Lilika, thank you. And to our program partners, the Pacific Power Association, and collaboration with the Pacific Community, SPC, thank you for driving and supporting this initiative over the last 2 years, especially. A big thank you in particular to Professor Bibya Sharma, Oliana, and the STEM team from USP for their valuable support and collaboration for today's successful event, but also their role in educating and preparing Pacific students for the future of the Pacific region. Last but not least, thank you. Vinaka, Fafatai, Malo Lelei, Tankus, Tumas, Meitaki to all the students and teachers not only here in Lodala, but across all the campuses. Thank you for making it out today, and hopefully in a few years, we'll see you sitting in a panel such as today, speaking for the energy sectors from your respective nations. Thank you. Vinaka.
Thank you very much, Gordon. To close, common and usual, is we close off the event with a prayer. We open with a prayer, we close with a prayer. And I'll kindly ask the Reverend Sibuta Halabiapi to close off the prayer and also to bless the refreshments after this. And please don't leave. We're going to take a quick picture, if everyone can just move to the front after the prayer, and we'll take a picture from the back. Thank you very much.
Let us close in prayer. Loving God, our Creator, our Redeemer, our Savior and our friend, our source of life, our source of power, our source of light, we thank you for the success of today's event and the opportunity for each one of us to be here. We thank you for the talanoas that has been shared. We thank you for the wisdom shared in this space. We continue to pray for the future of this industry and this sector, and especially for the support for women and young girls in the future. We also ask you, Heavenly Father, to bless the spread, the refreshments that has been prepared before us. Help us to be mindful of those who are lesser fortunate than us. This is our prayer we ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you very much, everyone.